So basically, Breakfast in Bethlehem is a Christmas carnival. So it is set up with booths. Not really a good way to see all the booths at once, but I can kind of show you one. There's 17 different booths that it's set up with. So, and these pictures are from my church in Dubai from probably 10 years ago. So you can see actual people playing these games, and all of these children are now adults, which is kind of creepy and weird. Which is why I feel okay sharing their pictures now. No, I contacted as many as I could. Some I have no way of reaching anymore. But yeah, it's set up as games that walk you through the Christmas story. So you have the census game where there's, guess how many items are in these jars. Or, you have the traditional lollipop poll, and we've done that as that's the end search. So, but for each game, you have the scripture that it's based on, instructions for playing the game, and then just a 2, 3, 4 sentence story. So as a kid comes to your booth, they play the game, and then you tell them that part of the story. So the goal is that by the end of the session, so 2 hours or so, kids will have walked through the whole Christmas story, hopefully with their parents. And it's just kind of, it comes alive for them. So, I always encourage my volunteers to dress the part, so here we've got some shepherds for the sheep herding game, or this is when the angels give Mary and Joseph the good news. So putting Bible verse puzzles together, so we had some that would go all out on their costumes.
I recognize those. Yeah, those two people, I recognize
This was
them.
actually the year after I wasn't working anymore, and we brought some of our neighbors' kids. So we got to participate as parents for the day, which was fun. But yeah, so you can go anything from, really elaborate costumes, which some of my volunteers would do, to, let's see if I can find one that's a little bit more, here we have someone that just covered their head with a scarf, so, and I give some ideas in there for volunteer costumes, go through different activities. But basically it's a fun time. For me, it's kind of the Christmas edition of the fall festival. So it's a lot of the games you would expect to find at a fall festival, like a beanbag toss, or the knock down the cup game. But they've all kind of been adapted to be part of the Christmas story, and to just walk the kids through the whole story, so they experience Christmas in a different way. So, as usual, the materials have printables that you would need. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. But as usual, we've got the printables that you would need, signs, ideas for how to, make it bigger or smaller, working on, with your setting. It just makes a really fun day. And it's something that a lot of people, you may have a Christmas party or, specific Christmas lessons, but especially for inviting the neighbors and, community in, it's just a really unique setting, I think, because it gives it more of that carnival feel that no one really expects at Christmas. And yet it's still the whole, the Christmas story.
Yeah, there's two things about that I really like just right off the bat is it's not a Christmas program, it's a Christmas experience, and kids have enough programs in their life. This is something families participate in together. Churches who do trunk or treat and all that, they see huge turnouts for their fall festivals. This is, why not? Why not do something like this? And I love the fact that
and you could even do it in the same way as the trunk or treat, assign different games to different families, do it in the parking lot, let families decide how they're going to set up their, their game or their activity. And you could go all out. If you have the budget, you can add all the other stuff. I think one time we had a balloon artist come, and he did sheep and camels and stars and, things like that. You could have a bounce house and, I don't know, call it something. You can always add the big flashy things if you feel the need to, but if not, choose even just 3 or 4 of the activities, and have a good time with the kids. And, it was always a highlight for us.
So could this
it's
work?
one of those things, so much fun.
I'll back this off. If you're in a smaller church and you think, oh, 17 booths, I can't do that. I barely have 10 kids in my Sunday school right now. How would you game plan for that?
I think if it was a smaller church, I would choose maybe 4 of the activities. Um, you could even work them into your Sunday school lessons, like during the month of December. If you didn't want to do it as one big event, you could say, hey, we're going to do the activities on, or the games, or booths or whatever, on the prophecies and the angels telling Mary and Joseph one week, and then the next week we'll do the shepherd activities, and then the next week the wise men activities. Um, you could do it that way. Um, I would set it up maybe like right after church or right before church, and let parents come in for half an hour and play some games with their kids.
Yeah.
If you didn't have a whole separate time. But I mean, yeah, like I said, the first time I did it, literally I had an old man in the church that offered to make some wooden nativity scenes, and he made one for each of the 10 kids in our church. I had another older man that offered to make pancakes, which is why we called it Breakfast in Bethlehem the first time.
Right.
And we dressed kids up in, old sheet and towels that we made costumes out of, and we took family pictures, and they decorated the nativity. And then I thought, well, we could add a couple more things to this. And it just started growing. And by the time I was in Dubai, it was a carnival. And so,
Yeah,
and
and
it can grow with your church for sure.
that sounds like a lot of fun too, because even when you say that, I know my kids, they don't remember the production value. They don't remember it was just they don't, oh, it was old bed sheets, Dad. No, they say, oh, remember that, it was so cool. And we have a
Yeah.
camel? I'm like, no, we never had a camel. I said, oh, they
Well,
imagine the experience is bigger than it was, because that's what kids do. Imagination's one of the greatest assets. So
and unlike a curriculum that sometimes it might be hard to reuse, year after year, maybe skip 2 or 3 years, you could do it again. But this is something that I would find kids every year saying, like, when is Breakfast in Bethlehem? And I had one small, we didn't even have like closets. We had just like storage, kind of like kitchen cabinets, but floor to ceiling. So I had like one that was, just this wide, and that was just stuffed full. And every year we'd pull it out. Some of the youth would come, we'd check the game parts, make sure they were all there, and then toss it all out. And, people would take their stuff, set it up, and, and I'd have 13, 14-year-olds go, I want to work a booth, but can I like play the games first? Because, they remember doing them since they were, 3, 4 years old or whatever. So I think it's
that's
a
great.
good thing that people will enjoy and can be used year after year easily.
Yeah, well, let's wrap this part up here. So this is from the Sunday School Store. Here's the web page for it, and just everything you need to know about it there. And um, digital download, you'll have it in 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes if your computer's
Yep.
slow, and everything will be ready to go. You'll be ready to start digging in and planning now, because somebody told me it's only like 50 days, 53 days to Christmas. So I
Oh,
said,
it's
whoa,
crazy.
okay.